Hey party people, this is Jeremy from Jambalaya Plays Games, and today I'm really excited about talking about Archmage, which is back on Kickstarter. This is by Starling Games, designed by Tim Hirama, and I am so excited because they're back on with this expansion called Ascendant. They added I think four modules, added just a ton of content, but I'm going to talk about the base game just a tad. We're going to go through a very quick overview because if I did this, it would take forever. So let me just get right to it. What's the basic concept of this game? You are rivaling mages, and basically you've taken care of all the world powers, and now you're going out and about exploring these tiles, unveiling them, trying to find followers at camps. You're taking over towns so that you can gather resources from everywhere, and then you're going to find these hybrid races over here, and then you're going to find these mythical races here in the beginning, and you're going to take the relics that you earn from unveiling wilderness tiles, and then you're going to use them over here to start promoting and initiating, and then eventually using your mage tower to promote these people and gain these sweet spells. So let me just kind of walk through what's going on here. So we got the sweet board over here, and this one here starts the preparation phase. There's 3 phases to this one here. I'm just going to start here. These move in eventually, and they get to the middle. And once you stack them all up, they basically signify the end of the game. Now, once you do that each round, boom, you get a resource for that one. I believe it was 4, so we're going to go to 5. But that begins the round. Now I'll just kind of say, hey, these tiles are like this to start off the game. The only ones that are facing up is this entire ring right here, and then the towns. Okay, so that's the only thing you know that's there. You know that most of these are wilderness tiles. You know that these guys right here are on the outskirts because they have these right here. Because they could be camps, they could be these guys. So just so you know that, and as you unveil these things, you will get resources. So let's say if I take my blue player here, and you get 5 movement points, or you get 5 movement points on your journey phase. By the way, shout out to awesome player aids. By the way, this is just the absolute player aid. It shows you a great detail about all the spells that are available, which you're going to need that when you're learning the game. Anyway, so what you're going to do is you have 5 movement points. Now you can move, you can attack, and you can explore. So basically I'm going to do just show you all of them. So I'm going to move here, that's 1 movement point. I'm going to attack this guy. He's by himself. He doesn't have a spell in front of him like my guy does right here. So I move 1, I have attack 2. So when I attack, I actually get a blood relic, and that's not one of the wilderness tiles available, which is kind of cool. All right, and then I can place these followers out here, and that's actually how I start to gain resources when I end my turn in towns, which is really important. And that would, let's see, that was 1, and then 2, I took that person out, and let's say 3, 4, okay, and then I flip this over, and this is exploring, and that's 5 right here. So I'm right here, and then I'm going to gain this when I unveil it. By the way, iconography is so amazing on this stuff. It's really easy. So I've unveiled that. I would get 1 relic in death, and I need these because once I start landing on these races, I can start praising them and kind of giving them stuff to do. So that's the end of my turn. When you land on wilderness tiles, you can do this really cool thing where you can either place your monster awesome mage tower, which we'll talk about in a second, or this is what you're going to do most of the time, which is basically place these little ward spells out here, and they're going to stop. Basically, they're going to stop people from moving so fast across the board. So, for example, I'll put 1 here, and every adjacent one that I control. So, look at that one. Boom, look at that. Okay, you can't come there so easy. Okay, bro? You can't come there so easy. So now for somebody to get through here, it's going to take a lot of their movement points. And that's what you really want to do. Just like I said, area dominance, area influence kind of thing. If you end in this different areas here, so let's say I end my turn here, I get 1 resource for all these wilderness tiles that I have out here, just the wilderness tiles where you gather relics. If I go to this camp, I get more of these guys from my supply, so I need those too. Those come to my company, so then I actually have more people available. You don't get all of them in the beginning. But if you start to land on these spaces right here, which is most important, one of these 6 right here, by the way, have no idea why that's on there. It shouldn't be on there right there. If you land on one of these places right here, you can start to initiate people. I'm just going to show you how one of those looks. So this is how you start to gain spells. So once I do that, I would spend 2 relics of my own of death, because I was on death. I would spend 2 relics, that would take me down to 1, and what happens is I can put one of these people on here, and then because of that I will be able to gather a spell. And think I grabbed one right here. So there we go. This would be Sleight of Hand, and this is actually from the expansion. And it's this, you can see here, it's a death spell, and I can put that in my area. It'll be like this. It won't be available till next round, but I'll just show you a couple of these spells that I do have in a second. But I also want to show you the biggest part of this one here. This is a mage tower, and the other thing I can do, let's say I ended my turn on the wilderness tile. The other option, which is on there, is I can start to promote people. And what you want to do is you want to promote people because it's going to make your spells stronger, and it's also going to give you more points. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and start just promoting people. Those people come in the middle of that Venn diagram area, the green yellow area, and then one goes away and goes back into my company, and now I have an advanced spell. If I do that again like this, I can have these fight out again and they can go back up. But each time I do that, I'm gaining a better spell, but I'm also losing some spells behind it. So it's a really interesting mechanic, but what happens is you start to gain these spells. I'm going to go back to when I had that green and yellow one there. I actually have a choice because in this expansion they give you, you're going to have advanced spells and you're going to have new, some of the older spells. So that's just kind of an interesting thing right there. I want to describe all these spells to you, but they're just absolutely ridiculous that I couldn't explain them in great detail. So let's just go to the other modules. We'll talk about some of the options we have. Hopefully I don't keep you around too long. Take care, party people. Let's do this. That was Archmage. Quick overview. Lord, there's so much here, and I didn't even get. All right, party people, I'm back. This is going to be a little quick analysis of the new spells. Just want to let you know, now you can add these into here. You can add them in. You can just kind of take out the fundamental spells and the advanced spells of the base game and just switch them out completely. You can decide to keep them all in there, so you'll have like 30 plus spells to play around with and just allow it to be so unpredictable, which is really cool for savvy vets of the game. But I'm just going to talk about some of these spells. So like I said, you have the base fundamental spells, but they all can be amped up. And here, I'm just going to start with some of my interesting ones here. Now this is a lightning spell, you use it right away, and this one right here you can steal relics from people if they have that relic on their board. This one right here you can place out for more resources. And if you have a certain amount here, as a matter of fact, I think I have a set out here already. When you start to spread these out, and you have, the more you have out here, if you have, I think for every two of these, you get another follower. So you want to have these here. So it's like a harvest blessing. I think that was pretty cool too. Let's see here. You have, you have barrier. This is a pretty cool one too. You can put out little barriers that stop people from basically making it around a certain area. You can hold off two sides and that like that. I'll probably place that wrong. You can consume somebody else's, someone else's guy right there, and then put one of yours in this place. So you're kind of like doing like a kind of a weird thing. You can return home, which is a really good way to travel, so you can get back over to the other side of the board. So let's say my mage is here, and I was into my turn. I wanted to cast that spell. I pay the relic cost, and I right back over here. That's a pretty cool little spell. That's just some of those. Let's see, the more advanced spells. This one right here, you can pull wards together to defend the area. This one right here is ridiculous. You can basically become a giant here. I have these little two sticks right here, and you can kind of fee-fi-fo-fum across here and then take out people while you do so. So you can, like, let's say I was right here, and I could just go and then take that guy out and take movement points and then start taking these people out, and I can fee-fi-fo-fum across. I wish they gave us like gigantic needles to do so. But those are just a couple of the spells. There, like I said, there's 12 added in here, but you can also just kind of throw them in as you please. The big thing is paying attention to how the magic choices are, so you have to sub in and out which one you want to choose as you go up the spell tiers. And that's pretty much it for this expansion as far as the spell goes. Tons of replayability there. Let's go to the next one. All right, now we're going to look at these prophecy cards. Now these are actually just point scoring cards that weren't in the base game, and this was kind of a flaw for me, and I'm glad they added this to it. They actually added something that's really juicy to it. So basically these are different mission cards basically, and they have a smaller number and they have a bigger number. They're going to be like two, or I believe they're 1 and 3s, right? I think there's 1 and 3s and 2s and 3s. The most you can have is 3. You'll get 3 of them at the beginning of the game, so basically the most points you can score is 9. And what you're doing is just trying to fulfill these. It's pretty easy. So hey, I want to cast 2 advanced spells, I get 1 point. 3 advanced spells, I get 3 in a single turn. I mean, that's pretty crazy here. First sphere, second sphere, and these are certain ones depending on what it is. Possess 4 relics in each of the 6 types. You have camps, things like that. These are very, very easy, but how it works If you want to fulfill the smaller one, all you have to do is reveal the card, and when you do that and you fulfill the requirement, you slide it under here like this so we can only see that. But once you do, when you flip the card over, that's it. You can no longer eventually get this right here. And that's pretty much the mechanic to it. So you're going to have to take some risk and decide whether you want to go for this. But these are going to decide how much you're going to pursue these higher spells, because they're worth 1, 2, and 4 points. And then you also have, you have your wilderness tile stuff out there. So you have to pay attention to all that and decide whether that's going to be something you want to chase, because you could eventually make up 9 points or just a little bit of gap in between. And that is the module for prophecy cards. All right, party people, we're back. I'm going to give you a very short overview, but these places of power are so freaking cool. So what happened is you can see there's 6 of them, but I have 2 of them up here. They wouldn't be placed exactly right here, but I'm just doing that for brevity. But what happens is as you come across here, you would explore just like anything else. You would unveil them. Now what happens is you want to control these, just like kind of like just like other stuff where you want to control these for a turn. And then once you do that, first of all, you're going to get the resource that's available. So for this one, you would get the green resource, which is nature, and then you would leave it there. Now, when you come around and in your turn here, the next time around, you would get 3 of those resources. So you can see it's got a 3 on there. So as you can see, similar to some other stuff, you're going to get like an amplified resource. But you're also going to get to control one of these spells. And this one right here is pretty cool. You're going to basically have a tree man or an ent walking around the board that controls stuff. Immune to all spells, can just walk around there and help you out. This one right here is a pretty interesting one. So just depending on the tiles that come up, I'm only going to show you a couple here. This one right here, the eye. When you move the planets, like for each round, instead of getting 1 relic, you will get 2 of that relic. This actually changes how you will probably move those relics around or think about placing them as the game goes along. This one right here, this is actually a game changer. Movement is a big deal in this game, so this far square right here is is essential. And this one right here it just pays attention to how you will move across the board, and you can go through barriers. That's huge. But yeah, got the dead mage. It says you can just push one opponent to any location adjacent to their current position, so you can kind of dominate them and move them around. This one right here, you can put the little wards of protection in different area in a place you can control if you don't have them already, which can happen because people try to get through your area and they don't. And they may just pick off some of your ward spells and not necessarily take out your guys. And then, yeah, so that's kind of a quick overview. I'm going through all these. It's ridiculous. But I'm going to leave it right there. That's another thing that you can add in. And like I said before, you don't have to do these things, so you can just leave them in there. All right, we're going to get to the next part because I've got a lot of stuff to cover here. All right, party people, we are taking a look at one of my favorite parts, if not my favorite part of this prototype, of this expansion. This is the reason why I got excited. I wish I could just play this for you. But this is the co-op mode, and the co-op was basically a newer version of the solo mode, which they've kept the challenge, kept the beef of it, and you're going to have a terror with this warlord. Now this is the warlord right here. He starts out his turn in the middle. I'm going to kind of just show you how it works. If you had the base game, you remember this little die mechanic. You roll it, it kind of matches up exactly with what this thing is here in the middle, and it will tell you, hey, when he goes on the outside, he'll go this way. When he goes on the inside, he'll go this way. Whatever it is, it's always inside, outside. He goes in a ring, five movement points just like you do, and whatnot. Now his goal is just basically to stop you. He's going to be walking around, placing his followers out here, and these are his followers. And he's going to be placing out ward spells if he lands on the wilderness tiles. He's just going to block you. He's going to impede your progress. It's no different than the solo game in that way, except now you have 1 player and 2 players, and he's going to go first. So it's him, then the player, him, and then a player, and that kind of thing like that. You also don't have time on your side as well. Your job is, as a team, to dominate 4 of the 5 wilderness types. So you can do that collaboratively so that you can claim ownership of those. And then also you need to have specific spells unlocked. So these master spells are not part of the actual co-op or solo mode, but you need to have people in at least 3 of them to finish the game, and that's both of you. And what happens is when you have these up here like that, you actually unlock the spells that are below it. So you'll have the chance to draft to get the advanced spells and the fundamental spells You'll have complete choice of those, but you'll never have the master spells. It's kind of like a goal for the game. And that's it. So let's go ahead and get to the turn. So like I said, die, gone. Die and tile, gone. Now we are at the point where we use these cards. So you'll start to, you will start the turn actually by pulling one of these out here. And that's kind of the pressure that he puts on you, because if he ever gets in control of all these from the supply into his company, then you lose the game automatically. You got to pay attention to that stuff. So I've already pulled one in. Flip over a card. Boom. We flip over a card and it just shows the route that it goes on. Now remember, like I said, it's 5 movement points. So he's going to have that free reign to move up there. I'm just going to get up and walk over there so you can see. We're going to pull you a little closer. How about that, huh? We're going to pull you a little bit closer. I'm going to put the card right here. So he's going to start his movement right here, and he's going to have 5 movement points. Look at me. I'm right there in his way. So he's going to go 1, take my guy out. I'm going to get a little blood for that. I'm not going to show you that right there on the screen. He's going to put one of his guys there. That's 1, okay? 2, he's going to move in here. He's going to take out my spell. That's 3. Okay. Then he's going to do this one. 4, take out my guy. He's going to put one of these here, and that's going to be my spell again, once again. And then he's going to, he can't move in there. So he's just going to stay right there. He can't move any further, so it's going to be 5. Can't go through my mage tower or anything like that. So that's pretty much, he's going to be halted right there, and that is his turn. He's going to do something similar to me, but also since he controls this area and he has people right here, he's going to place a ward spell here and then also in surrounding areas. And since he doesn't control that area, that's pretty much it. And he's going to keep doing that. That's all it is. He's not going to have some ridiculous magical powers. But he is a progress impeder, and believe me, the pressure is there, especially because you got to worry about the supply stuff, and then you got to worry about him picking up followers as he goes to the town every time. There's a lot of little things that are added into the mode, but I'm going to leave it right there. Let's get on and get to my final thoughts. This has been super long. I'm sorry about that. Let's go ahead and talk about it in my final thoughts. Hey, party people, final thoughts on Archmage Ascendant. Now, this game is right up there for close to my end of the game of the year discussion, because it is such an interesting game. I saw this at Origins, and then I immediately fell in love with it. Took it home, played the solo, love the multiplayer. I even played it wrong like 4 times. Still had a ball. Played it again, and then I got like blown away by the potential of this game. I mean, honestly, it's. I'm not going to say it's easy to learn, because what you're doing is when you learn those spells, that adds a level of complexity to it, because this is Venn diagram stuff. Just that alone, you're trying to navigate what spells go at what. But then they have this wonderful player aid that helps you do that. And even when I make mistakes, I can correct it really quickly. Just a lot of nifty little small mechanics in there, and how you use the little star line things at the top of your board. That's just awesome. But let's get to the expansion. The solo mode, which has become now a cooperative mode variant that you can throw in there, adds a lot of pressure to the opponent. And of course they threw out that die mechanic, because it used to be a little crappy little die and a little thing. It's fine. It was fine, but it was just felt so random. Now you have these 25 cards. It feels a little bit better. It feels more gamey instead of like just super risky random rolls. Cards and die, you pick them, you choose them. I'd rather have the cards. I also just like the pressure of having the supply being drained by the AI, so you have to kind of pay attention to what's coming into this company. That's a really interesting mechanic, and also you can work cooperatively to gather the wilderness dominance, which I like too. The prophecy cards, I like the risk reward of that stuff, because you can wait for the small one. You wait for the big one, or just take the small one because you need the points. But in the end game, which is something I had a little bit of an issue with, it makes this end scoring more juicy and exciting, because you can give up on doing all the spells. You can give up on doing certain spells, or you might be a little short on some of the wilderness dominance. And you can say, you know what, I'll just go for 7 to 9 points or 6 to 9 points, because you have a total of 9 points that you could possibly get. And you can just say, no, I'll risk it, or I'll kind of make up for gaps there. It's very interesting. The places of power are just absolutely nuts. Now that's going to make people very aggressive, because those things are super powerful. You can manipulate people like crazy. You can just dominate the board, gather resources faster. That's just awesome. And now the creme de la creme of this thing is this expansion. I didn't expect that many spells to be added, nor did I expect the little boost powers on all these spells. Honestly, you can turn into You can enlarge yourself and run and stomp around there. You can fly. Now you can set barriers which kind of block off certain routes and make people have to go around. There's so many things that they added to this game that just make the gameplay more juicy, more meaty. It just made, overall, Starling Games just made this game that was a good game into a great game. And that's how I feel about this. Now that I'm even looking at this prototype form, I can see the potential of what we're going to get when this, when this ships, because I'm recording this now when it's already funded. And I'm overwhelmed already because I know that this game has so many ways you can play it. You can switch things in and out. I love having that freedom, and I also love that if you're a veteran of this game, you can just choose. I mean, every time you put a guy on there, you kind of can choose between one or the other. You have so many options to do so, and it just nothing ruins the game. As a matter of fact, everything is purposeful, and it makes the game fun. So I'm just gonna leave it there. I can't tell you what to do with your money. All I can tell you is that this is a really, really good medium weight game. A lot of stuff you saw here was from the deluxe stuff, the deluxe thing. So you're going to just get tiles. You might want to get the deluxe. I don't know. It has the board and everything to make it a little bit more organized. That would be my only suggestion for you. Other than that, take a look at the Kickstarter page. Take a look at the price and decide if that's for you. But for my money, this is one of the best medium weight games on the market, at least for 2018. And I'll leave it there. Thank you so much for your time. I want to thank Starling Games for providing me with a prototype of this game for the preview today. And I hope I was informative to you. My name is Jeremy. Jambalaya Plays Games, JambalayaPlaysGames.com. You can find more previews of mine on my